In the book, I Am Malala is about a girl who stood up to the Taliban and was shot. The girl is named Malala Yousafzai. Born in Pakistan, she was learned that only men had the right to have an education. Malala was the first girl to stand up to the Taliban for education for girls. She always thought it was unfair for men to get educated and not girls, but just for girls to be housewives. Malala always wanted equal rights for boy and girl, so her story began by standing up to the Taliban, getting shot in a... Malala was shot on Tuesday, 9 October 2012. She was coming back from school on a bus until the bus driver stopped letting a man inside sing. "Who is Malala?" Her friend has told her that when the man said, "Who is Malala?" she squeezed her friend's hand tightly. She was shot in the bus soon after. Everyone looked at her. She was the only one not covering her face. She is still alive today, lucky. She was shot because she wanted education, but the Taliban never allowed it because for many years it's always been boys being education while the women stayed home. She had enough because she wanted her dream to come true and live a happy life. Malala lives in Birmingham, England. On June 2015, Malala's wish was to be a doctor but never came true cause of the blockings of education. She couldn't learn on her own and needed a diploma. She still wants to make her dream to come true, so she didn't hold back to stand up and ask others for help, and also speaking out at the United Nations meeting. A few years later she wrote her book, I Am Malala, to tell everyone her story. She won the Nobel Peace Prize for standing up for education and was shot by the Taliban. Her big quote was, "One child, one teacher, one book and one pen can change the world." Everyone believes that the world can always be changed by fighting hard. Now here is Malala answering my questions. First question, who gave you the name Malala? What does it mean? My father gave me the name Malala. When I was born, he said when he looked into my eyes he fell in love. He again said after. I know there is something different about this child. My name came from a girl named Malala Maiwand. She was the greatest heroine of Afghanistan. So my name is the meaning of grief-stricken. And that's why my name is. What would you say if you ever met or encountered a shooter while walking home or bumping into them to where you were heading? To me it would be better to plead to the shooter instead of running away from the shooter, possibly getting shot while running away. I'd rather die with telling the shooter one thing, and that is, okay, shoot me, but first listen to me. What you are doing is wrong. I am not against you personally. I just want every girl to go to school. If that opened their eyes, realizing what they were doing and what I said was best for everyone, and doing my wish. If they accept the offer but still shoot me, I would have died for a Who else was shot other than you in the bus? And where? In the bus I was sitting next to two girls named Shazia and Kainat Riaz. The first bullet that was shot went through my left eye socket and under my left shoulder. The second bullet had gone through Shazia's left hand. And finally the last bullet had gone through Kainat's left shoulder, then into the upper right arm. It has been said that the shooter's hand was shaking with fear while shooting aimlessly at me. This is how my story. When someone talks about schools, what usually goes in your mind at the time? For me, when it's about schools, it immediately pops into my mind about rights for girls. Talking about it makes me feel good about myself, that I am trying very hard for peace in Pakistan. Girls deserve better than to be a housemaid for a father, husband, siblings, or your children that are men. It makes me very upset for girls like me. Young girls and moms do not have education for themselves. My wish is to be a doctor, but I'm still waiting to make my. When girls do have education in Pakistan, what would you do? Well, I would be happy like any other girl in Pakistan. Now that I live in England, I don't really have to worry about the Taliban shooting me again. I would celebrate the rights for education and remember the reason why I had gotten the Nobel Peace Prize for a reason. I, Malala Yousafzai, would be proud of being the hero of Pakistan for girls. The book, I Am Malala, is an inspiring book that is based on a true story about a girl named Malala Yousafzai. I recommend this to people in 6th grade to adults. This book is also a memoir of how this girl became known and how she is now going all over the world for girls' education. Malala had won the Nobel Peace Prize of standing up to the Taliban. This book has inspired me to focus more on school and my future.